Oh my god, you guys are so lucky right now. I'm going to tell you about something that none of you know about, I'm sure, but that is absolutely incredible and will improve your life. It is called Tubi, Tubi. If you guys have not downloaded that app to watch movies on yet, they have so many terrible 90s movies, I can barely contain my excitement. If I could do nothing, I even looked it up. 4,000 to 5,000 movies were made in the 90s. And I've literally kept track of every movie I've ever seen. I've kept track on a spreadsheet. I used to write them down in a notebook, but then I transferred that to a spreadsheet. But since I was a kid, and I've kept track of every movie, and the total number of movies, I'm just about to hit 2,000 movies. And I looked it up. There are 4,000 to 5,000 movies that were just made in the 90s. I could spend virtually the rest of my life just watching movies from the 90s, which is absolutely amazing because these things are hilarious. They are so much fun to watch. And in line with that, this particular movie is starring one of my least favorite human beings to have ever walked the earth. And it was made in 1998. And actually, it did ingratiate this actress to me a little bit. But it's like to the same degree that Paradise Lost ingratiated Satan to me. So, take that for what you will. This movie is called Hush. It was made in 1998. It's an hour and 36 minutes. It is starring Gwyneth Paltrow, Jessica Lange, and Jonathan Shake, which I think I've seen him before. I don't know anything else the guy's in. It was directed by Jonathan Darby, though. I don't know how much he's known for. Yeah, not much. He has 5 previous director credits and nothing since 2004. So I don't think he really tore up the scene when it came to directing. Jessica Lange obviously is a world treasure. She has done amazing stuff all the way throughout her career. Love her to death. With this particular movie, it's described as, because I'm sure most of you haven't heard of it or seen it, but maybe have seen the cover. I actually really like the cover. The cover is pretty well done. It has too many words on it, and I'm not going to read the subtitle because I think that'll give too much away. But like I said, it's called Hush. And it opens up with the lullaby, the Hush Little Baby, Don't Say a Word. Mama's going to play the song Mockingbird by Eminem or whatever, however it goes. I don't know how it goes. But that's how it starts. And it's about this guy who is pretty well off, but he's living in New York in this apartment with Gwyneth Paltrow's character, and Gwyneth Paltrow lost her parents when she was young. And they're going to go back. They're starting to get serious, so they're going to go back to where he's from, and this is where Jessica Lange is, and that's his mother. And there's this big estate, beautiful house, they have horses, all that noise. And yes, I'm going to describe the movie in detail so you don't have to go watch it because I know none of you are going to. If I had say spoilers, none of you are going to go watch it and then come back. It's from 1998. Anyway, so he's going to take her back, and Gwyneth Paltrow, of course, is nervous about this situation, meeting the mother and all that stuff. And they get there, and it's a little weird because he and his mother are a little too close. Rather than the kiss on the cheek, it's the kiss on the lips, and that's always a sign, I'm talking to you, Tom Brady, that is always a sign of something really weird. But she's nice, and they're both nice to each other, and it takes a while for anything strange to start going on, except for the mouth kissing. But I swear, I would watch infinite 90s movies. Like I said, they have so much personality. They have the courage to do what they want with a movie, good or bad. So it has personality instead of just being bland nonsense like today. This movie turns out to not be very good, but overall, it is such an enjoyable experience because it's really trying. And by the way, Gwyneth Paltrow she does a reasonably good job in this. She is not a terrible actress. She's just a horrible person and not good at being an actress at times when she should be. So anyway. But they're just going to go there, they're going to spend the weekend, they're going to hang out with mom, and then, head back to New York so they can meet. And their first encounter is it's one of these contrived kinds of encounters wherein Gwyneth Paltrow is naked in bed. Some breakfast is brought to her. She gets up out of bed and she's, oh my gosh, it's so great having a man that will bring me breakfast in bed. And she stretches all out so it's all visible. It's not visible on the screen. Don't jump right to go watch this movie. It wasn't visible on the screen. It was from the back and it was cut in such a way that you could not see anything. Anyway, Jessica Lange comes in. She gives she actively looks the whole body over, by the way. And Gwyneth Paltrow sprints back to the bed, so they have this awkward first encounter. And yes, there is a little bit of nudity in this. However, I did some sleuthing, which means that I rewound and played to verify, because it looked like there was a body double in there. They got a body double in there, and they absolutely did. They 100% did. So from the back, they show the girl that she's getting into the bed, just random blonde girl. And then when it cuts, you can see under the covers that Gwyneth Paltrow, when she's in the bed and she's pulling the covers over, you can see she's wearing shorts, actual blue shorts. They couldn't have just gone with a skin tone underwear or something like that. She was wearing actual shorts when she got into the bed and covered herself, which, I mean, I get it. This is not the movie you want to get naked for, but still, it was pretty funny. The way I knew it was actually the side boob didn't seem right. It looked a little off, so that was how I got suspicious initially, and then I saw the shorts, and I was like, oh yeah, that was totally body double. Anyway, now that we spend 10 minutes talking about that, the important thing that we need to take from this is this is another thing that they were willing to do in 90s movies, is they took their time. They're just talking and getting to know each other, and there's nothing weird going on yet. There are no action scenes. Gwyneth Paltrow goes and talks to the guy that she's with about how awkward it was, and it's weird, and I wanted to make a good impression, and they're making jokes about it. The mother character is making a breakfast, and they're meeting the horses and talking about the place. And Gwyneth Paltrow has a necklace, and the necklace has pictures. It's one of those what are those called? A pendant. It's not a pendant. It's not just a pendant. There's some specific word for this. What are those that open up and they have the pictures in them? But it has her parents who had passed away, so it's something that's very sentimentally important. She's had it her whole life, and she shows it to the mother. And so there's some back and forth. I think they go to a party at this point, and one of the partygoers is clearly antagonistic toward the mother character, but you don't know why. And so there's just some stuff going on, and okay, whatever. And then they're done. They had this introduction, and it was fine, and the two characters are going back to New York. Now, while they're back in New York, Gwyneth Paltrow is coming home one day, and this guy pops into their apartment. He's got a mask on, and he attacks her and tells her, to hush. Don't say anything. And I know where you live. And he takes the necklace, and he doesn't take anything else. Oh, at this point, she's pregnant, by the way. They had a bunch of sex when they were at the mother's place, and the mother watched one of the times. I don't think the entire act. I think it was just in the early goings she watched. But so she's pregnant. So she tells the guy that I'm pregnant, don't murder me. I think she would still been disinclined to be murdered if she wasn't pregnant, but it does up the stakes quite a bit. So he takes the necklace, runs away, and now she's terrified of New York. So she wants to go back to the country where this gorgeous house is and live on all this land and be safer and all that kind of stuff. But there's actually this great moment before this when, after she'd been attacked and she went to the hospital and she has to go back into her apartment, she's with her boyfriend, and they go into the house and the mother's there and is like, oh, hey, what's going on? It completely scares the crap out of Gwyneth Paltrow's character, which makes sense. It's contextual. It makes sense. It's character. It's establishing that the mother is actually a threatening character, even though she hasn't done anything. But it does that with a subtle method of just she is there when she wasn't expected to be there, and Gwyneth Paltrow's already on edge because of everything that happened. So it's a nice subtle way to establish that she's a threat. I liked that. It was well done, and it was well acted by Gwyneth Paltrow. So before this, there was that old lady, the older lady, who was the one who was the antagonist of the mother who was at the party. And like I said, Gwyneth Paltrow just happened to talk to her. And so the older lady is just talking crap about the mother character. And the mother character intervenes. She's like, oh, don't listen to her. She's crazy. And moves her wheelchair and goes to push her away. And the old lady's like, take your devil hands off me. That was pretty awesome. So this lady's pretty quality. She has a bunch of notes like that she says to the Jessica Lange character. But anyway, it's not until 40 minutes into the movie that the mother character starts really trying to manipulate both characters, manipulate the son and manipulate Gwyneth Paltrow. And so, thank you. Just take your time. Now it's totally earned that it's weird that the mother is acting this way. And so you start wondering, okay, what's going on? The son character, it turns out, he feels really guilty, and this is something that he tells Gwyneth Paltrow, because he thinks that he tripped his father at the top of the stairs, and his father died from this fall. So it's something that he's lived with for a very long time. It's one of the reasons he wanted to get away. So they get back, though, with the mother character. They move back, and they say, okay, we're just going to stay here, have the kid here. It's safer, we're going to like it more, and Gwyneth Paltrow confides in the old lady, the feisty old lady, who's like, "Ooh, girl, you need to be doing this. You don't talk to that Jessica Lange," and all this, all that kind of stuff. And it's okay. She has somebody she can at least talk to as the mother character is getting a little more crazy. And then you start getting more information about what actually happened, because this old lady is saying that, yeah, that's what she said, but that he just fell down the stairs, but she probably didn't mention the fact that there's an imprint of this really unique tool that they use on a horse farm like this that happened to be at the bottom of the stairs and caved his chest in. And that's the reason he died. It wasn't actually from the fall. So they start unweaving the lies of the mother, and the mother gets a little bit more aggressive and serious. And it's his actual biological mother. It's not like there was some twist about her. She wasn't the real mother or anything. So that makes it more significant. And then at a certain point, as things get along, and now Gwyneth Paltrow is really questioning what the hell's going on. She's finding out what this tool is, and she's getting more and more pregnant. So, a lot of people question her because is it hormones? Is she just being a crazy pregnant lady? But there's one point where Jessica Lange is confronting the old lady in the wheelchair. And the old lady in the wheelchair she's in this thing that it's got a heat suit or something that covers her whole body except for her head that's sticking out. And Jessica Lange is pressing her, and she's, "Don't talk to my daughter-in-law." They had gotten married by this time. "Don't talk to my daughter-in-law and stop messing with my family. Better not. Do you understand me? You better answer me." And then the old lady's like, "I have. You just can't see my finger." Yes, 90s sass. That's instead of saying some over the top "F you," all that stuff. She's like, "You can't see my finger." It's great. I loved it. So now by this point, I am relatively on Gwyneth Paltrow's side because the mother is acting crazy, and Jessica Lange does a great job of this this character. But I'm still yearning for the Gwyneth Paltrow death scene. That's what I'm looking for in every movie. I don't care if she's in it or not. So we've got the son who is somewhere else. He's at work or something. And Gwyneth Paltrow and the mother character are back at the house. And the son has told Jessica Lange that they're going to be leaving because Gwyneth Paltrow just doesn't feel comfortable there anymore. So they're going back to New York. But Gwyneth Paltrow ends up going to this room that had been built up by Jessica Lange's character to be a nursery for the baby. And in this room, she finds her necklace. The one that had been taken from her. Now, I don't understand why this had to be the turn of events. Like, that's a really contrived thing to have happened. But once she finds this necklace, then she is terrified. And given everything else that had been happening with the Jessica Lange character and the weird relationship she has with her son, then she's, okay, I have to get out of here. So she goes and runs to the car and tries to drive away. And in so doing, she ends up in this weird area and goes by this guy who apparently works at the place, and the voice she recognizes the voice as the voice of the guy who attacked her, way back in the day. So eventually the car breaks down for some reason, and she ends up hitchhiking, pregnant, blonde Gwyneth Paltrow, hitchhiking on the street, and Jessica Lange shows up in her car and puts her back in the car, and then forces her to give birth because she had given her the stuff that she put in a cheesecake, which don't defile cheesecakes. Apple, sure, fine. Just a chocolate cake with a chocolate mousse, go ahead, but not cheesecake. Takes her back, puts her in a bed, so it's a home birth. And Gwyneth Paltrow can't do anything. She's going into labor now because of the medicine that she was given. And so she's trying to get away. She's trying to yell for people. Nobody else is there. She wants to get the phone, but Jessica Lange won't let her. There's a call from the husband, and Jessica Lange answers and, is say, "Oh, no, she can't come to the phone, whatever, but I'll take care of her. Don't worry about it." And eventually, after the baby's born, so she helps her give birth to the baby. She takes the baby away, and then takes a big syringe full of morphine and is going to assassinate Gwyneth Paltrow so that it could just be her and her son. Now, there's some stuff that makes sense of this whole situation. It turns out that Jessica Lange was actually the murderer of the father. She caved his chest in after he fell down the stairs so she could get rights to the property, but the property was left to the son. So now she loves her son, it's her real son. She doesn't want this other woman intervening and having some role in their life. And she also doesn't want to be found out for having murdered somebody. So she has some motivation to do this. So she's about to inject the morphine, but Gwyneth Paltrow has enough strength to knock it away. The husband's getting back right at that time, but Gwyneth Paltrow is out from, the birth and all the upheaval of everything that's going on. Eventually she wakes up the next morning and she's acting like everything's fine. Gwyneth Paltrow is. She's just, oh, hey, no, it's good to see you. Yeah, I don't remember any of that insanity. The father's taking care of the baby, and Gwyneth Paltrow just starts laying in when Jessica Lange says something, and it brings up, and so Gwyneth Paltrow starts laying in about everything that has happened, and the tool, and she brings the tool out, just detailing everything that was going on and how the father didn't really die the way you thought he died. And so Jessica Lange is it's getting more and more intense, and she's crying and, oh my god, this is craziness. And Gwyneth Paltrow gets a moment of smacking her, and the son is, no, you're done, this is over. Not to Gwyneth Paltrow. I can understand how somebody might feel that. Even after all this, it's still Gwyneth Paltrow. I know. So I see how you might still think that. But he says, you're done, Mom. We're not doing this. I'm taking my baby and my wife. I'm protecting them, and you're a horrible person, and that's the end of it. And then Jessica Lange joins the military. So I don't remember what happens at the end. But anyway, the point of the whole thing is that 90s movies are effing fun. They're so enjoyable to watch. No matter how stupid they are, there's still so much personality. And also that I love that what does this mean? Psychologically, what is the whole thing really about? It's really about a woman being vindicated in her hatred of a mother-in-law. It's so funny to me that the whole thing stems from just a woman being a little anxious about meeting a mother-in-law, not knowing how that's going to go and how that's going to turn out, whether she's going to like you, and what to do if she doesn't like you. That's what it all stems from, and all the rest of it is just about that vindicating idea of, no, I was right, okay, she's crazy. So not only is she just unjustified in her criticism of how I treat her son, which is what happens in the vast majority of relationships that have this issue, but she is also a murderer. She murdered your father and then lied to you about it so that you would feel guilty about it. She wants to take all of your property. She sent somebody to rob me and just take, he literally just took the necklace so it would inculpate her later. I don't know why she would put it in the baby room. If you're going to send somebody like that to scare your daughter-in-law and take her necklace that is extremely identifiable, just keep it in a pocket, or put it in a safe, or tell him to keep it at his house. You can go visit it occasionally. But why the hell would you put it in your baby room that you're making for them? That doesn't make any sense. But then the mother-in-law also goes to the point of trying to murder the daughter-in-law. And then it's, look, okay, husband, I was right. I am right about my mother-in-law. Your mother, she needs to butt out, okay? That's the whole idea of the entire movie. And I'm absolutely here for it. I loved it. It was a terrible movie, but I loved watching it. I didn't read the synopsis before I started watching it. I was just like, yeah, sure, why not? Of course, the most important thing is that there was nudity, but it was a body double who had terrible side boob, so totally not worth it. There are other movies wherein the demon herself, Gwyneth Paltrow, does actually get naked, and we might touch on those. It's a just unfortunate choice of word there, but there are movies wherein that happens, and we might watch those at some point. But anyway, yeah, that's Hush from 1998. I swear, it was totally worth it to watch that and have an entire episode about it. I don't want to hear anybody saying otherwise. That was a lot of fun. That was a fun movie. 90s were the best decade in all of history, and we're going to have some more coming up. Just movies in general. I'm not sticking just to the 90s, although I want to. I'm just going to do whatever movies happen to pique my interest. Anyway, hope all is well. I'm almost not sick anymore, but it's getting to that point. We'll see how long that takes. Hope all is well, and that's about it. I'll see you in the next one. All right, bye.